Mourners included the First Lady, a former president, and more than 1,000 others. All of them gathered today in California to say a final goodbye to Nancy Reagan.
It is Friday afternoon. I'm Shari Williams.
And I'm Rick Williams. Brian Tapp is off. The big story in Action News is the funeral and burial of the former First Lady. Lauren Lister has the latest from California. Lauren.
Nancy Reagan was involved in planning this day for years. We're told even decades. She wanted something kind of short and sweet, but memorable. And with today's touching tributes, laughter, and a love letter, it seemed to be exactly that.
I am the resurrection and the life, saith the Lord.
A solemn procession. And a crowd of 1,000 guests here to memorialize First Lady Nancy Reagan.
Accept our prayers on behalf of thy servant Nancy.
Family and friends remembering her life, from Hollywood to the White House, and more than 5 decades by beloved husband Ronald Reagan's side.
She really always was on his mind.
That love playing a role in the services. Former Canadian Prime Minister Brian Mulroney reading a love letter Ronald Reagan wrote to his wife.
I love the whole gang of you. Mummy, First Lady, the sentimental you, the fun you, and the Pee-wee powerhouse you.
The guests, including First Lady Michelle Obama, Hillary Clinton, and George W. and Laura Bush, former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Maria Shriver. There's also a long list of celebrity guests, from Wayne Newton and Tom Selleck to Gary Sinise and even Mr. T, who became close with Mrs. Reagan during her Just Say No anti-drug campaign. Media figures also here, including ABC's own Diane Sawyer, giving a reading.
I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am.
After the funeral, Mrs. Reagan will be laid to rest next to her late husband in this hillside tomb. Reflecting on Mrs. Reagan's life during the service, daughter Patty Davis and son Ron Reagan, also journalist Tom Brokaw, and President Reagan's Treasury Secretary and Chief of Staff James Baker. Lauren Lister, Channel 6 Action News, Simi Valley, California.
Quite the celebration of life today. It is time now for a check of the AccuWeather forecast.
Friday afternoon, meteorologist Adam Joseph is outside with a check of the afternoon and the weekend. Adam, looking nice, huh?
Yeah, it's beautiful out here. A lot of sunshine today, but we've had that northerly wind that cooled us off from those summer-like levels the last couple of days. So we said goodbye to the 80s, but today so far it is still 68 degrees in the last hour. That, again, is a far cry from yesterday's 82, but that is still 17 degrees above the normal of 51 degrees. As we look at some of the numbers that have really tumbled, we're 16 degrees cooler this afternoon compared to yesterday in the Lehigh Valley, 15 degrees cooler in Trenton, 14 at the shore, and even the Poconos dropping about 13 degrees from yesterday afternoon. We had those early morning showers with that cold front that slipped to the south. That's what brought the cooler winds in from the north. Again, some high clouds at times sharing the sky with that sunshine. And as we go through the evening hours tonight, we'll have a mixture of stars and clouds. 58 degrees at 7 o'clock, dropping to 54 at 9, and then we're back into the upper 40s at 11 o'clock tonight, with the low dropping to 41 in the city and 30s in most of the suburbs, with mainly a clear sky. So a winter feeling as we wake up tomorrow morning, and those temperatures will continue to drop through the weekend, and we're tracking a few showers, while the timing on both coming up in that full AccuWeather forecast. Shari?
All right, Adam, thank you. Meantime, 6abc.com/weather is like having a state-of-the-art forecasting facility right at your fingertips. From Storm Tracker 6 Live Radar to constantly updated outlooks, we've got you covered all weekend long.
In other news, it started with a man speeding through the streets of southwest Philadelphia, and it ended with a violent crash. And along the way, police say the man behind the wheel left a trail of damage behind. Action News reporter Greg Hall is live near 57th and Whitby, where this all ended just a few hours ago. Greg.
Indeed, Rick, it was quite the scene out here earlier today. Police say a Jeep came speeding down this hill behind me and then ran right over here into several parked cars. Now, folks living in this area, they say it was frightening and very loud.
It looked like it come from out of a movie, man, the way this thing was. This guy was flying. I mean, he might have been doing about 65, 70 miles per hour.
Rattled neighbors described a wild scene in southwest Philadelphia today. The driver of this Jeep lost control and leaves behind a mangled metal mess. This green car was hit so hard it is barely recognizable.
It shook the whole house, though. It was a loud noise, man. I thought it was a war zone out here.
The crash happened along 57th and Whitby Avenue. Police believe the driver was under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Those living near the scene are thankful no one was in the parked cars. The driver was the only person hurt, and looking at this aftermath, he is lucky he didn't lose his life.
He should have been hurt, but he had some superpowers or something. That's crazy.
The extent of the driver's injuries is not clear, but those who saw him say he appeared to be delusional and his hand was severely damaged.
Laid on the ground, his hand all bloody, started eating his fingers. It was horrible.
I see the guy walking. Blood on his hand, got like a half a hand. He's screaming, "Come on, walk with me. Y'all my peoples, walk with me."
As police continue to investigate, people living in the neighborhood say speeding drivers are a constant problem.
This street here, cars always fly up and down the street. But they didn't do it in the winter. So, as soon as it get warm, everybody think they Superman.
And back out live, everyone in this neighborhood just thankful tonight that there were no life-threatening injuries. We are still waiting to hear back from police on exactly what led up to this crash. Live in Southwest Philadelphia, Gray Hall, Channel 6 Action News. Alicia.
All right, Gray, thank you. This afternoon, investigators are still piecing together the details of a bizarre incident aboard a SEPTA bus. It all began when witnesses say they watched as a woman was snatched off the bus, attacked, and then forced into a car in the city's Crescentville section. But that woman is now telling police that she was not abducted and not taken against her will. Witnesses say the bus was at Pratt and Roosevelt Boulevard just before 2 a.m. when a man tried to stop the bus with his car. When the bus stopped at a red light, witnesses say the man got out of the car, punched the glass where the woman was sitting, and yelled at her to get off of the bus. And the woman did get off when the bus finally stopped on the 4200 block of the boulevard.
And at that point, the male grabbed the female off of the bus, punched her several times in her head and her face, and then forced her into the back seat of the car he was driving.
Officials say they are handling this right now as a domestic kidnapping because they say it appears that the two know each other. Now, again, the woman has come forward. They have spoken with her, but investigators are still looking for a silver 2001 or 2002 Pontiac Bonneville with temporary Delaware plates. They say so far, no leads on tracking him down. Shari.
All right, Alicia, thanks. Police in Delaware continued their crackdown on heroin dealers today. They announced another round of busts across the state. One happened in Millsboro, Sussex County. Police say they watched as they say Tremar Bailey, Keon Hopkins, Carl Lazarus, and Deontay Watson completed a drug deal in the Riverwinds mobile home park. Investigators say the group had a total of 77 bags of heroin, 31 grams of marijuana, and 6 grams of cocaine, and more than $1,800 in cash. Well, they are all in jail after failing to post bond. Police also made a bust in Seaford. They say 38-year-old Leandre Williams had more than 2,700 bags of heroin in his home on North Porter Street. They also say he had almost $9,000 in cash as well as a stolen gun. He's in jail on $247,000 bond. This makes at least 5 heroin busts in Delaware in the last 3 days. Police say it shows the continuing problem heroin is causing in communities across the state.
Well, the Eagles wrapped up a busy week with another deal today. This one clears the logjam at quarterback. Sports Director Deuces Rogers is live in the Action News Sports Center with deals on the trade. Goodbye, Sanchez. Hunters?
Yeah, hello there, Rick Williams. Yesterday's edition of Chase Daniel put the writing on the wall for Mark Sanchez. He is the odd man or odd quarterback out. The Eagles trade Sanchez to the Denver Broncos for a 2017 conditional draft pick. Sanchez spent 2 seasons with the Eagles, mostly as a backup. He started 10 games over that span, going 4-6 as a starter. Sanchez threw 18 touchdowns against 15 interceptions. Those are certainly pedestrian numbers. In Denver, he joins a Super Bowl championship team. He will try to be one of the guys trying to succeed Peyton Manning as that team's quarterback. So the Eagles will go with Sam Bradford and Chase Daniel. They still need to get a number 3 quarterback. They will likely try to do that in next month's NFL draft. Rick and Shari, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Deuces. Time now for a check of our Action News traffic report Friday afternoon.
All right, let's go live to Autumn Marisa in for Matt Pellman in the Action News Traffic Center. Hi, Autumn.
Hi, Autumn.
Hi, Shari and Rick. It's a really busy Friday afternoon out there. We're going to start on the Schuylkill Expressway. Here are our eastbound lanes just as you approach University Avenue. We have an accident, you see, involving these two vehicles. We had police on the scene. We had fire trucks. We also had an ambulance that just pulled out of the way. You can see still taking out the right-hand lane there, but the left lane getting by. Those eastbound lanes, if you're heading from the Blue Ridge down to the Vine Street Expressway, you can see it's taking you about an hour right now. So moving along and showing you another incident. This is on the boulevard. These northbound lanes, you can see, are very slow going, and even at a standstill right here. We had an accident at Wissahickon. As you make your way off of that exit, there was a truck that dropped its load, so they're there diligently trying to get that moved off to the side of the road. 2 lanes are blocked on the right now. We do have a left shoulder getting by there. And you can see speeds across the region because of those accidents, nice and slow as you make your way down towards Philadelphia right now. We're in single digits. Other parts of the region, you can see on the Blue Route, 20 miles per hour there. A little closer to King of Prussia, we're out in the teens. So really slow go this afternoon for your Friday afternoon commute. Taking a look at the Vine Street Expressway, that's another one. As you make your way onto those eastbound and westbound lanes of the Schuylkill Expressway, you can see very slow there as well in the westbound lanes of the Vine Street Expressway. And taking a look at the Ben Franklin Bridge, nice and clear. That's a good shot for you. All area bridges actually looking great, but we'll keep an eye on things and we'll bring you an update in the next half hour. Back to you, Rick and Shari.
All right, Autumn, thank you. And much more still ahead on Action News at 4. The charity founded by Jerry Sandusky is going out of business. What will happen to the hundreds of thousands of dollars they have on hand?
Plus, Donald Trump picks up an endorsement from a former rival, and he makes a controversial comment about the supporter who punched a protester at one of his rallies.
And it's an item every new parent needs, but so many struggle to pay for it. Now there's a new plan to make diapers more affordable for millions of Americans. How it will work and who's coming together to make it happen. We'll be right back.
Former Republican presidential candidate Ben Carson is throwing his support behind Donald Trump. Carson officially endorsed Trump at a news conference today in Palm Beach, Florida. He said there are 2 Trumps, the one the public sees and the private one who considers things carefully. Trump also addressed the arrest of one of his supporters who was caught on tape punching a black protester at one of his rallies. And despite the fact that the man is now facing charges, Trump said his supporter acted appropriately.
And I thought it was very, very appropriate. He was swinging, he was hitting people, and the audience hit back.
Meanwhile, Marco Rubio's campaign took the unusual step today of urging Republicans in Ohio to vote for John Kasich. Polls show Trump and Kasich running a close 1 and 2 in Ohio. Rubio is a distant 4th there.
Well, the charity founded by former Penn State assistant football coach Jerry Sandusky will dissolve. A judge officially gave the Second Mile permission to stop operations. Sandusky founded the charity back in 1977 to work with disadvantaged children. He met several of his abuse victims through the organization. Second Mile officials say Sandusky's conviction has made it nearly impossible for the charity to continue. The group's $750,000 in assets will now be turned over to the Attorney General's office, which regulates charities.
General Motors has bought a software company in hopes of getting an edge in the race for driverless cars. GM bought Cruise Automation, which is a 40-person firm that was just founded 3 years ago. The company has been testing driverless vehicles in San Francisco. GM did not give a timetable for rolling out an automated car, but said it would happen as soon as the company can show the vehicles are ready. GM and other automakers have been racing Google to hit the market first. Now, here's a look at today's closing numbers and an ending Friday with gains across the board. The Dow above the 17,000 mark, ending 218 points up. The NASDAQ is up more than 86 points, and the S&P 500 is up 32.62 points today. The White House is launching a new initiative to make diapers more affordable. The program gives low-income families access to diapers up to 25% cheaper than what they'd find in the stores. The White House says about 1 in 3 families has trouble affording diapers for their babies, and diapers are not covered by federal assistance programs. This new initiative will launch at the end of next month. President Obama says online retailer Jet.com Cuties Diapers and several nonprofits are working together to make this all happen.
Coming up tonight on 2020, World News anchor David Muir has a special report on the heroin epidemic in this country. One he says is not only sweeping the nation, but has no boundaries. More than 100 Americans die every day from drug overdoses. To put that in perspective, that's more people than gunshot wounds or car accidents. Tonight, Muir is taking viewers behind the statistics and into the homes of several families that have been directly affected by heroin addiction. He says it's not just happening in big cities like here in Philadelphia, but also in the suburbs. And it's transcending race, class, and even age. He says the number of young people using heroin is alarming. There's a particular and poignant moment where he talks to some kids at a middle school.
And I asked a very simple question of that class. I said, how many of you have seen the needles, the heroin needles? And nearly the entire class raised their hand. There are communities across this country where needles are found in ballparks, on playgrounds.
Spencer switched over to heroin. The police came.
Parents, he says tonight we will meet those parents who never imagined this addiction would find its way into their homes and affect their children. And you can watch the special Breaking Point, Heroin in America, tonight at 10 on 2020 right here on 6 ABC. Rick, it proves to be a very powerful show tonight. I know I'll be watching.
Yep, I think we all will. Thank you, Alicia. We have one other programming note to pass along. Today's scheduled episode of General Hospital did not air this afternoon because of ABC News' coverage of the Nancy Reagan funeral. So that episode, which would have aired today, will instead air Monday afternoon in its normal spot at 3 o'clock, right before Action News at 4.
All right, we are looking forward to the weekend. It's time now for another check of the AccuWeather forecast.
Meteorologist Adam Joseph is standing by with, is that snow behind you?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
The skiers and snowboarders, they want to extend that season, but I tell you, we've done some damage the last few days. You can see a lot of bare spots on the slope here at Bear Creek up in Berks County. There's a couple of folks there waiting for the lift line, but again, really patchy at this point after an extremely warm week. As we take a look at some of the numbers presently right now, we're still near 70 degrees in Dover, as well as Wilmington and Philadelphia and Millville, 67 Atlantic City Airport, 61 in Allentown. You can see the direction of those winds now coming in out of the northwest. So it's a cooler wind today, dropping us from the 80s, but these numbers are still pretty exceptional for the beginning of March. There you can see the wind speeds, 14 miles an hour in Allentown and Reading, 13 in Philadelphia, 12 in Millville, as well as the Atlantic City Airport, and 15 miles an hour in the Poconos. As we look at satellite and radar, we had that front come through early today, and we've had a blend of clouds and sun this afternoon. And you see a lot of high clouds streaming all the way down to the south, where another low pressure is setting up near New Orleans, and that will start to push in here before that weekend ends. But for tonight, a lot of stars upstairs and just a few clouds. On the chilly side, though, 34 Allentown, 35 in Reading, 38 in Wilmington, 42 Philadelphia. So if your heater hasn't been kicking in the last few nights, it will again tonight. Future tracker as we get into the wee hours of the morning of Saturday, into the afternoon. In fact, this is noon. 58 Philadelphia, 54 Allentown, 60 in Wilmington with a decent amount of sunshine. High clouds start to filter in tomorrow afternoon, but still a very mild day, a little cooler than today. 65 Philadelphia, 60 Allentown, 63 in Wilmington. And then as we get into Sunday morning, those numbers are still pretty high. 43 Allentown, 48 Philadelphia, 52 Millville, a sprinkle to the south. And then as we get into Sunday afternoon, that's when we start to see some of those showers coming in from the south and west. So it's a dry, sunny start to the weekend, and then it finishes a little on the wet side, and temperatures do tumble each day. As we look at that 4-day at 4 forecast, as we get into the upcoming weekend, we will note it is sunny, but still nice here tomorrow at 65 degrees. And then it's mild with afternoon showers developing on Sunday, 66. And remember to turn those clocks ahead here Saturday night by 1 hour. And then periods of rain and cooler Monday, 54. But then we bounce back into the middle 60s as we get into Tuesday with a mixture of sunshine and clouds. And we'll let you know where those temperatures go as we head towards St. Patrick's Day next week, and that 7-day forecast.
Okay, thank you.
Coming up at 4:30, the latest on the looming strike for New Jersey Transit. We'll have a live report on the efforts to stop workers from walking off the job this weekend.
Also, a massive forest fire continues to burn in South Jersey. What firefighters are telling us about their work to stop it from spreading. Stay with us.
And in Big Talkers today, grab your happy tears tissues. We have a story of a teacher making a very special donation to one of her students, how she's giving the gift of life coming up.
Let me get a big pic too.
A forest fire is still burning this afternoon in Burlington County. Chopper 6 was over Woodland Township this morning, where the fire was burning across 350 acres at its height. It was centered near the area of Baptist Road and Old Tuckerton Road. Well, this fire is not threatening any homes. So far, there are no reports of any injuries. For our New Jersey newsroom now, we are still working to learn the names of 5 people who were shot after an argument in Trenton. Police say a group of women had some kind of dispute early this morning on Oliver Avenue. Then around 2:30, they say a car pulled up and a man got out of the passenger side and started shooting. The 5 victims range in age from 22 to 44. 3 of them are women. They are all expected to survive, but police are still looking for the shooter.
Roman Catholic High School announced a new scholarship today to honor a Pennsylvania State trooper who was killed on the job. David Kedra graduated from Roman back in 2006. He died in 2014 in an accidental shooting at a training range. Today, Kedra's family and friends joined State Police Commissioner Tyree Blocker to establish the scholarship in David's honor. The school also held a special mass today to mark the occasion. A high school in Southwest Philadelphia dedicated 3 brand new murals today. Bartram High School students created the artworks back in January as part of a project on the Martin Luther King Day of Service. The murals represent the front entrance and hallways, the auditorium, and the classrooms. The students got help from alumni, the Philadelphia Mural Arts Program, and the Restorative Justice Guild. The last group is made up of young people serving probation who volunteer to give back to the community.
A grocery store with a long history in Bucks County officially moved into its new home today. Altamonte's Italian Market in Doylestown moved into a former car dealership on Easton Road. Well, today the Altamonte family officially cut the ribbon on their new location. In addition to having more space, the new location also has a dining area for customers to dig into the store's Italian sandwiches.
Nice.
Plenty of them there.
Yeah, wow. Still ahead on Action News at 4. It's Friday, so we have some freebies on tap for you this weekend.
And the company promising not to use certain chemicals is facing a lot of backlash online. We'll explain the questions surrounding one of the Honest Company's most popular products coming up.
Plus,
will there be a strike or won't there? Right now, New Jersey Transit is still in negotiations with its employees. If it doesn't come to an agreement, over 100,000 commuters could be stranded on Monday. I'm Nora Mushanek. I'll have a full report coming up next on Action News.
Action News continues with meteorologist Adam Joseph, Alicia Vittarelli, Shari Williams, and Brian Taff.
hello again. It's 4:30. I'm Rick Williams. Brian Taff has the night off. And Action News continues with a new reward being offered to find the person accused of killing a puppy.
Plus, calling him rude and uncooperative, a mother abandons her son at a hospital. Well, tonight she's defending her actions. Hear her side of the story coming up.
Also, diners are outraged when they find a sensitive piece of history being used as decor at a restaurant chain. We'll explain the controversy ahead in Big Talkers.
But first at 4:30, negotiations are getting down to the wire. New Jersey Transit rail workers are poised to walk off the job if they don't get a contract soon. Heading into the weekend, more than 100,000 commuters face uncertainty for Monday morning. New Jersey correspondent Nora Mushanek is working the story. She's live at the Trenton Transit Center with the details. Hi, Nora.
Hi there, Shari. Monday morning could be an absolute mess if a strike is called. As you say, it will leave thousands of people without a way to get to work, and people are bracing for what could be commuter chaos.
I need to get to work on Monday. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to make it to work on Monday.
New Jersey Transit riders are worried about what will happen if a strike is called. 4,000 rail workers, including engineers, conductors, mechanics, and cleaners, could walk out at 12:01 Sunday morning unless they come to an agreement on wage increases and health care costs. They've been working without a contract for 5 years.
Cripple us because that's the way we have to come to work. We have no other way unless we drive. And if you drive, you know traffic will be tremendous on that day.
I go to Rutgers, New Brunswick, so
if you can't get the train, what would you do?
that would be a big problem because it's usually what I'll have to figure out another way to get home.
New Jersey Transit is the nation's largest statewide public transportation provider with 160,000 weekday riders.
I commute to Philadelphia, usually by the train, so that means I would have to go by the bus, and that's going to cost me more money and more time.
Perhaps the carpool. So I hope we don't have to do that. That's what I'm really hoping, that we don't have to go through all this confusion.
If a strike does happen, the trains will stop, but light rail will still run, and so will New Jersey Transit buses. At the Hamilton station, workers are unloading big lights in case they're needed, and a message board is being tested. Buses will run from here to the PATH station in Newark if rail workers strike.
Run in to see a show, go out to dinner.
These two retirees just got back from a few days in New York and are glad the trip ended before the strike deadline.
We certainly wouldn't have planned this trip if the rail strike was on. That is for sure.
Rail riders aren't the only ones that'll feel the pinch of a strike. Late workers and lost time could cost businesses millions of dollars. If there is a strike and you're commuting on Monday morning, expect delays of several hours. Live at the Trenton Transit Center, I'm Nora Mushanek, Channel 6 Action News. Rick?
All right, Nora, thank you. Action News will have coverage of the updates on the possible strike on the air and online at 6abc.com. Meanwhile, a late afternoon crash in East Falls sent 4 people to the hospital. Chopper 6 HD was over the scene along Route 1 at Ridge Avenue just about an hour ago. Police say a Verizon truck hit a bridge and lost part of its load. That load hit 2 vehicles, injuring the people inside. None of the injuries are said to be life-threatening. The crash caused quite a backup, though, as emergency crews worked to clear the scene. A weeks-long investigation has ended with 2 drug arrests in Newcastle County. Police have charged Michael Deal and Joshua Shorts with various offenses after apparently catching a drug deal in progress. The 2 Newark men allegedly had more than 500 packaged bags of heroin on them. Investigators also found 10 vials of a liquid-controlled substance known as scissor and hundreds of dollars in suspected drug money.
PETA is offering a $5,000 reward to find the person who killed a puppy in Upper Dublin Township. On Wednesday, police in Willow Grove found the body of a pit bull puppy locked in a metal cage and wrapped in plastic and sealed with tape. A necropsy found the puppy was seriously underweight and died from suffocation. Police are investigating the incident as torture. They have not made any arrest.
A late morning fire has gutted a Wilmington row home. Firefighters say the blaze started in the basement, but smoke was billowing out of the upper levels of the house here on West 3rd Street. There's too much damage inside for anyone to live there right now, so the Red Cross is helping 4 adults find another place to stay. Fortunately, no one was hurt, and no word yet on what sparked the fire. Meanwhile, the fire also tore through a home here in the Fern Rock section of Philadelphia. The action cam was on the scene at around 1 a.m. this morning along the 5700 block of North 12th Street. The fire broke out on the roof, and crews were able to quickly bring it under control. No one was hurt.
Meteorologist Adam Joseph joining us now. Of course, the weather has been the talk all week, and now we're wondering about the weekend.
Not as nice as during the week.
Oh, okay.
There are changes coming in over the weekend, but
we're still
it's
above.
overall still above normal,
Okay.
and we're going to see some sunshine here,
All right.
especially on
So
Saturday.
that snow video had me frightened.
Did it?
We didn't like that.
You never know. It can snow through April here,
Yeah,
so you just
well.
never know.
All right.
Center City, a few high clouds right now, but still mild, 68 degrees. It's not 80s, but it's still 17 degrees above normal with a northerly wind at 13 miles an hour. And speaking of the snow, there it is for you, Rick. I'm throwing it right back at you. At Shawnee, there's still some snow on some of the slopes there, 50 degrees with those winds out of the north-northwest at 15 miles an hour. So check on your favorite resort to see if they're still in operation for this upcoming weekend. And speaking of the weekend, we also lose an hour of sleep. Not always boothing on a Saturday night, right? It's a night you go out. Also check your smoke detector batteries as well. You want to do this before you head to bed on Saturday night. But the only good thing you got going is on Sunday the sun will set at 7:06, despite it's going to be cloudy and rainy at that time.
All right.
You haven't been booed all week, have you?
You lose me no matter what.
Wait till 5 o'clock. I'm really going to pull one.
That's something else you do.
That's true.
Adam, thanks. Okay, Burlington County students are celebrating the fact that music and theater are back into their curriculum. Well, as part of the reintegration, the Drama Club at Delran Middle School is putting Shrek Jr. the musical on next weekend. Rick knows all about this one.
That's right.
The performances will be at Delran High the 18th through the 20th. The students are getting a chance to learn about the arts, all thanks to a grant. Garden sushi and a chocolate chip spread was on the menu today in South Jersey. Students at Weymouth Township School, the middle schoolers there, they were chefs in the classrooms today in honor of National Nutritional Month. The program is put on by Atlantic Care Healthy Schools. The goal is to show children healthy but fun eating options.
Well, peanut butter used to be a simple item to check off your grocery list, but now with plenty of brands and different kinds of nut butters to choose from, the choice today is much more difficult. Action News anchor Monica Malpass is live in the newsroom with more, and I guess we'll see you in a jiff, won't we, Monica?
So to speak. That's right, Rick. There is almond butter, cashew butter. The list goes on and on of all the nut butters out there. And so coming up tonight on Health Check, Allie Gorin breaks down the different types of products available on shelves and which ones you should actually avoid. Plus, putting a spotlight on mental health. We'll explain the campaign that has become a new focus for the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. We'll have those stories and more coming up in a few minutes on Action News at 5. Rick, I'll see you then.
All right. See you then. Thanks, Monica. Well, today was a perfect day to be outside, of course, and perhaps plant a tree, or maybe several trees around the city. That's the idea behind this organization called Tree Philly, which held an outdoor event here in Rittenhouse Square today. Various city officials, including Mayor Kenny, took part to help launch this beautification project. Well, now that winter is hopefully behind us, Tree Philly wants to branch out into various neighborhoods, providing free yard trees to residents. TD Bank is sponsoring the program.
Bright road work shows that green season has begun in Wilmington. Mayor Dennis Williams picked up a paintbrush and laid down the ceremonial green stripe on King Street. Tomorrow, floats and bands will march down this route in the Irish Culture Club of Delaware's 41st annual St. Patrick's Day Parade. The festivities, they kick off at noon.
It's always fun. Still ahead on Action News this afternoon, a mom accused of dropping her 8-year-old son off at a hospital and leaving him there. Hear her reasoning coming up.
And the well-known charity for veterans takes action amid reports it mishandled donations. We'll have the latest on the Wounded Warrior Project next.
Also at Big Talkers, a little girl's perfect match found right in her classroom. The incredible story of how her teacher is poised to save her life.
And meteorologist Adam Joseph returns with a full forecast from AccuWeather when Action News at 4 continues next. Night of heavy rain has made flooding even worse in the south. The high waters are being blamed for at least 4 deaths. And the governor of Louisiana has declared a state of emergency. Rescuers have been using boats to get down flooded streets and bring neighbors to safety. The National Guard is also on hand, reaching people who are stranded. In some parts of the state, waters are receding, but they are also washing out the roads.
There was young kids driving across it before it gave way.
Part of this concrete was all gone. And so it was like a huge waterfall was going down.
And Mother Nature isn't done, as heavy rain is expected to continue through the weekend, which means the region will likely not get any relief from the flooding until Monday.
A mother in Utah is accused of abandoning her son. She allegedly left the 8-year-old boy at a Utah hospital with a note saying she did not want him because he's rude.
And basically outlining in that note that how the child had been uncooperative or trouble.
I told them that he was out of control and that he needed more help than I could provide for him. I thought that was okay that we could drop him off because it was a safe haven place.
State officials say the safe haven law was intended for newborns, adding that they have other help for cases like this. That mother is being charged with child abuse and child abandonment. The Wounded Warriors Project has taken action after the organization was criticized for its handling of donations. 2 executives were fired. The National Veterans Advocacy Group has been challenged over how it spends more than $800 million raised in donations. A report found that in 2014, the group spent $26 million on lavish employee conferences. The Wounded Warrior Project says a preliminary financial audit indicates 80% of its budget went to vets.
Big Talkers now, and in Minneapolis, some customers say they were offended, even enraged, by a photo that was used in the decor at a restaurant called Joe's Crab Shack. Take a look. As part of the table display, this historic photo shows the hanging of a black man for robbery and murder in 1895. That man is surrounded by a crowd of white people. Here's where it gets even harder to look at. There's also a word bubble above the man that was added. He's being lynched at the time in this picture. The bubble reads, "All I said was I didn't like the gumbo."
We just felt sick and confused, and it was just sickening. It was disgusting.
Well, Joe's Crab Shack released a statement apologizing, saying they understand that the photo is offensive, that they take this matter very seriously, and they have since removed that photo, but needless to say, it did have a lot of people talking. If you order products from the Honest Company, you'll be interested in this story. Today, actress Jessica Alba, who co-founded the company, is lashing out at a report which suggests that their laundry detergent uses an ingredient they promised to avoid. Alba's line has promised that its host of household products are free of harsh chemicals. But this week, the Wall Street Journal said it tested the Honest Company's laundry detergent at 2 laboratories and found that it did contain sodium lauryl sulfate, a known irritant. Alba says it does not contain SLS, but sodium cocoa sulfate, an ingredient she calls a gentler alternative. Honest is calling the Wall Street Journal wrong and reckless, but the paper is standing by its rigorous testing and calls its report accurate and fair. Certainly a lot of buzz on that one. And finally, grab your happy tears tissues and don't say I didn't warn you. We've often heard that teaching is referred to as a calling, a passion job. Well, in Wisconsin, one teacher is going way beyond that call and giving one of her students the gift of life. Natasha Fuller is a first grader in Jody Schmidt's class. The 8-year-old was diagnosed with chronic kidney disease and needs a kidney transplant. She was put on a list last year, but was told it could take more than 3 years to get a match. Well, it turns out her teacher, Schmidt, is a perfect match, and she's going to donate one of her kidneys to the little girl. That's how close they are.
I see her every day. She smiles, and I smile too, and I give her a hug.
The family is floored with this gratitude, and little Natasha says she cannot wait to swim and finally eat chocolate. And you guys, go to my Facebook page right now. Well, you guys right during the commercial break. Everybody else right now.
We've got it.
You have to watch the moment that they tell the little girl's family that they are a match, and the teacher presents it in a little box. The grandmother's crying. It's amazing.
It is.
Perfect for Friday.
Actually, I already seen it. It is, it's the sweetest thing. Thank you, Alicia.
Love it.
All right.
All right, let's get another check of the roads tonight.
Autumn Marisa back in for Matt Pellman. She's in the Action News Traffic Center with an update on folks trying to get home, get that weekend started right, Autumn.
That's right, Rick and Shari. It's a slow one out there, I will warn you. We're going to start with an accident on the 42 freeway northbound. This is approaching 295 northbound, taking out the left 2 lanes there, so only 1 lane getting by over in New Jersey. Taking a look now at the Schuylkill Expressway, not much better over here. Here are our eastbound lanes heading down to the city. This is at Girard Avenue. We did have that accident eastbound right at University Avenue clear. So the good news is we should start seeing this begin to pick up speed here in a little bit. But you can see the delay right now, and it's taking 67 minutes to go from the Blue Route down to the Vine Street Expressway. Not looking too bad in those westbound lanes if you're heading out of the city. And our accident at Wissahickon Avenue on the boulevard has cleared out of the way. Rick was mentioning that earlier. That was involving that Verizon truck. And you can see we're starting to move there, albeit very slowly. And if you're going southbound, making your way to the Schuylkill, again, another slow ride there as well. Speeds across the region, around the city, nice and slow. You can see we're in single digits, 9 miles per hour. Very slow going on the Blue Route as well, 13 miles per hour. Out towards King of Prussia, 23 miles per hour. So just have a lot of patience, roll down those windows, and enjoy that nice weather. Keep an eye on things and bring it back to you in the next half hour. Back to you, Rick and Shari.
Thanks, Autumn.
Sounds good. Meantime, meteorologist Adam Joseph, he'll be up with the exclusive AccuWeather 7-day forecast next.
Okay.
Big talk.
Doesn't matter because you barely walk. Saturday, if you're a runner, it is tomorrow. It's not Sunday. Sunday is one of those couch days in the afternoon with some showers.
Taking notes Saturday.
Taking notes, yeah. I'll give you a workout already. As we take a look at the action cam, which was out and about this Friday, it's been feeling like summer most of this week, and it's starting to look like spring outside with many of the daffodils now blossoming, as well as the cherry trees and even my magnolia tree in the yard is starting to bud. As we take a look at double scan live radar, the sunshine is still sticking around despite those temperatures have dropped off from the last couple of days and tracking no rain other than those early showers that we saw this morning. 56 right now in Tannersville, 60 in Quakertown, 63 in Pottstown, Kennett Square, 65, 68 for Center City, Levittown, Southern Bucks County, 64 degrees. Right along the immediate shore, still cooler today, like the last couple of days with temperatures in the 50s, but you don't have to go very far inland where you bump back into the 60s with Hamilton at 66, Bridgeton 68, and a similar temperature in Kent County, Delaware. As we look at satellite and radar, we have some of those high clouds streaming in from the north and west. There was that little cold front that passed through with those showers early in the morning. That's what drove in the northerly wind today and dropped the temperatures. But the system down to the south over the Gulf Coast states will be ejecting itself to the north and east for the second half of the weekend. But for tonight, it's mostly clear and much cooler. We're going back into the 30s for most suburbs, 42 degrees for Center City. And as we take a look at Saturday, there'll be another front to the north. We're going to start with sunshine, some clouds increasing in the afternoon with temperatures still about 14 degrees above average. We dropped to around 65 from today's so far 68 degrees. And then a warm front starts to arrive as low pressure works its way up into parts of the Tennessee Valley. That will quickly bring clouds in Sunday morning and some afternoon showers with temperatures in the middle 60s. So as we look at the sunsets, again on Sunday, we're going to have our sun setting now at 7:06 after turning those clocks ahead Saturday night. And then by April 1st, 7:25 p.m. And by May 1st, that's sun setting close to 8 p.m. So those sunsets getting longer and longer. The exclusive AccuWeather 7-day forecast, sunny and still nice here for the beginning of the weekend of 65 degrees. On Sunday, it's mild with some of those afternoon showers developing and temperatures at 64. And then we drop 10 degrees on Monday with periods of rain as that low pressure rides by to our south. And then it's breezy and turning warmer on Tuesday of 66 degrees. Sun and clouds, 19 degrees above average again on Wednesday of 72. A lot of clouds. There could be a shower late Wednesday into St. Patrick's Day of 66 and gradually turning cooler at the end of that 7-day of 64 degrees. So tomorrow, I'm going to text you and let me know just how well that run went.
I will. I'll take some pictures.
We want pictures, yes.
Proof.
We'll be right back.
Your next.
It is Freebie Friday, and we are officially heading into St. Patrick's Day week. This Sunday, it is the Philadelphia St. Patrick's Day Parade, one of the oldest in the country. Bands, dancers, organizations, and more will start at 16th Street and JFK, and they will march down the Ben Franklin Parkway to the Philadelphia Museum of Art. It is a great afternoon. It all gets started at noon on Sunday. Now, how cool is this? Through St. Patrick's Day, which is next Thursday, March 17th, Ancestry.com is offering free access to 10 million Irish records, perfect for anyone who wants to know more about their family history. We'll show you how to grab that on our website today. Thanks to Smithsonian Museum Day Live, you can get free admission to 7 local museums tomorrow, Saturday. That includes the African American Museum, Philadelphia History Museum, Independent Seaport Museum, the National Museum of American Jewish History. Again, there's 7 museums where you can get free admission, and we'll get you that list as well. Easter is just a hop away, so tomorrow Kmart stores are offering kids 12 years of age and younger a free pair of Easter bunny ears. Again, that's happening tomorrow. And finally, don't say I didn't tell you, mark your calendars because Tuesday, March 15th, is free cone day at Dairy Queen. Everyone who shows up gets a free vanilla cone. And we know that at least one of you, Rick, likes ice cream. But we all like it.
Well, I do.
I do too.
I know, me too.
See, I would go in and disguise myself and go back in and disguise myself.
Well, no.
Yeah, well, all right.
They know your tricks.
That will
now.
work now.
Well, that'll do it for Action News at 4. Now for Rick Williams, Brian Tapp, Alicia Vitarelli, and Adam Joseph. I'm Shari Williams. Join me along with Brian, Adam, and Deuces Rogers tonight and every night for a full hour of Action News at 10 on PHL 17.
Now here's Monica with a look at what's coming up tonight at 5. Hey, Monica.
Hi, guys. And coming up next at 5, celebrating Nancy Reagan, the final goodbyes for the former First Lady nearly a week after she passed away in her sleep. Plus, a bizarre assault on a SEPTA bus, how a bus window here ended up cracked, why police thought at first they were investigating a kidnapping. And the search is on for a gunman after 5 people were shot early this morning in Trenton. Those stories and more coming your way next at 5.